Hey, welcome back, Barbarians. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at a very strong build for PvP. Now, this build has been around for quite some time. It's nothing new. Don't get me wrong. There are certain ways to add to this build's utility that weren't around before. There's certain intricate ways we can go about talking about this build. But before we take a deep dive into it and why I believe it to be such a high utility build for really any game mode in PvP, please make sure to drop a like on the video. Greatly helps me out. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Today I want to be talking about the bow you're seeing in the background gameplay, Le Monarch. Now, this exotic's been around since the Forges. I don't really recall what season that was. Season 10, 8, 9, whatever. Its exotic perk, Poison Arrows. Arrows fired quickly after fully drawn, become poison arrows. Precision hits with poison arrows spread poison to nearby enemies. So essentially, you draw the bow back, and with snapshot, zoom in, fire it. It does have a timer, and then there is no poison. You do have to get a critical hit, as it says in the description, and then there would be a poison cloud, very similar to a smoke bomb that goes off around the enemy or target you've hit, and it adds some tick damage over time. It's really strong. I mean, the precision hit alone, as you can see in the gameplay, is 152, and then you can see a bunch of threes tick after that. It leaves the opponents very weak, and in my opinion, especially in 6v6, it's very good for getting kills or cleaning up kills. Yeah, it's just very strong overall. It's exotic bow. It does say in the database that it does have a catalyst on light.gg. It doesn't say what it does from my knowledge. Maybe some of you know. But I'm excited to get a catalyst eventually. It's always been something that I, for whatever reason, and probably a lot of other people that play, I just pair it with the Night Stalker subclass. I just think it pairs so well. Now in this video I'm using Void Wall Grenade, and I am actually using Top Tree. So I'm going to Shade Step to get to go Invis, and I'm actually pairing that with Graviton Forfeit, the exotic helmet. So that's the build I'm running. So my Smoke Grenade, it does damage to the opponent as well. It does not, make me and my teammates invisible like Bottom Tree. So yeah. Moving forward, just having that tick damage, the utility of a smoke grenade, being able to throw it and then it pinging on somebody's radar, it stays there over time. They can trip it at a later date, and then after that, they can start taking tick damage. In this video here, I decided to pair Le Monarch with the Multi-Mac Iron Banner SMG. I have Dynamic Sway Reduction and Iron Reach. I personally think this is one of the best weapons to pair it with, just because it's got solid range, and after you get a headshot with Le Monarch, you can quickly follow it up with a little bit of SMG damage, and you can actually walk away from your opponent, and you can rest assured that they're going to die, without a doubt. Alright, so make sure to stay tuned as well in this video. At the end, I do get a Ghost in the Night gold medal with this bow and this loadout. But let's talk about this loadout here, why I think it's really good overall, and some other options that I would switch up with it. So I'm running a weapon reloader for the SMG when I Shade Step. Now that's probably highly controversial. It makes way more sense to run the melee reload for your smoke bomb, especially if you're running something like Bottom Tree. Depending on your build and your choice. Graviton Forfeit, like I said, improved invisibility. Submachine gun holster. I am running some grenade mods to make sure my grenade and melee are up, so I can have that wombo combo effect. And there it is right there. To make sure that's very strong. My heavy, really anything you want it to be. I am running bow targeting and bow dexterity, so I can pull the bow out pretty quick. And I'm running bow dexterity and SMG dexterity, which I think a lot of people mess up. You're going to do the most damage, whatever weapon you're going to do the most damage with, you want your dexterity for the other weapon, aka the finisher. In this context, it's the bow, so the finisher is the SMG, so you want SMG dexterity on your gauntlets to be able to quickly take out the SMG and unload and finish off your opponent. this is just the build. You got to try it because it feels interesting. Between having a bow shot drawn for a long range target and the wombo combo up and the ability to shade step, it just feels like there's always something to do. Now, having said that, I will say the biggest downside to this build, in my opinion, is just the super straight up. I can't stand the bow super. I think it's terrible. It could be so much better, but yeah, I digress. Next, I'd like to dive into some ways that you could switch this build up and potentially make it a little bit stronger. Just as far as staying on the same subclass and changing up the exotics, I think Frosties could be really strong, which are still, in my opinion, the most... Actually, I'm going to make a video on those. Those are the most underused exotics, but I digress. Dragon Shadow, giving you that quick handling speed that gets very addicting. And another thing I think could help is, Worm Husk, of course, never hurts. But in addition to that, I'll say the subclass, you could run something like Shinobu's Vow with this. That's super annoying. You're going to have improved skip grenades. You're going to have 2 of them, and they're going to track your enemies and do enough damage to finish them off after a bow headshot. The thing that happens when you fight somebody and you're using a bow is you'll do your initial damage most of the time, not all of the time, and then your opponent will hide, which is fine, but you do want something to be able to finish them off, because otherwise they're just going to regen their health. And then as far as, you can run Golden Gun, but I think Arc, Stasis, and Void are the 3 better subclasses to run this build with. Stasis obviously being very strong with its ability spam that it has, and yeah, Mask of Bacchus, you could run, I don't know, all the same exotics really. Moving over, you can run Titan. Titan has Frontal Assault. You can get increase in weapon damage to be able to one-hit certain guardians. You could run... I think Striker Titan alone would be, very strong with this, with the pulse grenades, lightning grenades. And then I think the other top contender is going to be Warlock. Bows synergize extremely well with Arc Souls, whether you're running Getaway Artist or if you're just running the Rift and then you're subbing it out for another exotic. Lunafaction Boots is pretty nice. They could reload, increase your sprint speed. Those are very popular. Phidian Aspects, just increasing that weapon handling speed. And then Empowering Rifts. If you didn't want to run a healing, Empowering Rifts make this bow absolutely slap in the Crucible. So definitely something to think about. And similar utility, when it comes to the burns, if you're running Sunbracers and Solar Nades, it really doesn't take any damage at all to finish an opponent off after you've hit them with the bow. So yeah, you just feel like you're absolutely dominating. Trying to think here, the other thing which I haven't tried is the glacial turret with the Stasis Warlock, which is very powerful and super annoying in PvP, because it's just a distraction. Yeah, you can shoot it, but it becomes a distraction. So you compare that, and then you have a frozen target in Le Monarch. Yeah. Now, I wish it doesn't, but can you imagine if this worked with Necrotic Grips, how fun that would be? But anyways, that'd be a blast. So I'll leave you to watch the end of the video here. I'm really curious what you guys think. Drop a comment below. Are you a fan of bows? I personally absolutely love them, PvE or PvP. I think they're really strong, highly underutilized. Yeah, I'm gonna take that free kill. No big deal. Gives me my Ghost of the Night, funny enough. And yeah, I use them quite frequently. Le Monarch used to be kind of a meme weapon. In my opinion, it wasn't necessarily top tier. It still isn't, but it's just so strong that I don't see enough people using bows, and makes me sad. So I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, which will likely be about Frosties. Alright, peace.